Hey everyone, how's it going? It's ByteKnyte. Today I got some big plans, including making a hangar and runway for our new plane and heading into the end to take on the Dragon. To start, I needed a proper hangar and runway for the plane, so I went out to gather materials. I was thinking about using this green concrete from a nearby structure, but after collecting a good amount, I realized I couldn't actually chisel it. That was a bit disappointing since I wanted to add some texture, but it got me rethinking the design overall. From there, I began clearing out the north side of the island. It was the last bare patch left, and I had been saving it for something like this. Thanks to the enchanting machine I built last episode, my shovel tore through the dirt easily, and before long, I had a nice flat space. As I started to look at it, I wasn't actually sure this was going to be enough space for what I wanted to do. I wanted to have a large hangar and runway, and I don't think this is going to cut it. So, if I hop into my creative world for some measurements, we can see that the regular plane is 9 blocks long and 8 blocks wide. Onto the large plane, which is 11 blocks long and 9 blocks wide. Then we've got the helicopter, which is 10 blocks long and 9 blocks wide. And finally we have the big one, the cargo plane, which comes into 20 blocks long and 20 blocks wide. Now, with all the measurements done, I think I'm gonna go with the large plane. That'll allow me to build a hangar door something similar to this. I wanted something that both looked good and functioned well without making the hangar ridiculously long. And since the large plane's wingspan is only 9 blocks, this 10 block wide door should work perfectly. The setup is actually quite simple. It's just 2 sticky mechanical pistons. They push and pull these zinc blocks together. And the doors are just made with zinc blocks, copycat bytes, and frame glass. I went with this shape that I found based off this image online. I think it's going to fit really great into the world and be just a little different than what I built before. So with all that done, we can hop out of our creative world and hop right back into our survival world to get building. Back in survival, I started with the front of the hangar. I used the schematic cannon to place the sliding door I had designed earlier, letting it do the heavy lifting while I shaped out the front walls and placed in the first sticky piston. And after gluing everything together, it worked great, so I moved on to the next one. After the second door was placed, I just repeated the process of gluing it up and making sure it all worked. From there, I began framing out the space I'd need for the power, then began laying down a layer of sandstone and chiseled spruce planks to fill out the frame. With the front in place, I headed underground to set up the door's controls. Since there weren't any other power needs this far out, I just snuck in a water wheel to keep things simple. A clutch and redstone link let me open and close the doors with ease. I spent most of the day getting everything in place, but when night fell, the doors finally sprang to life. With the doors working perfectly, I filled in the walls using the same sandstone and chiseled spruce planks from before, laying out the full shape of the building. Once that was done, I moved on to the roof. I went with the slope zinc design, which took around 700 copycat slope layers just for one side. Placing that all by hand took forever. For the other half, I let the schematic cannon take over, saving me time and effort while still keeping a consistent look. With the hangar complete, I turned my attention to the runway. This is a crucial part as a plane this size is going to need a proper strip for takeoffs and landings. I began by laying down chiseled blackstone to form the shape, and then I had carefully laid out the runway markings using copycat slabs and polished diorite to form crisp white lines. I really took my time with this part, ensuring that every line was straight and even. To finish the runway off, I formed a half circle as a sort of turnaround to make it easier to take off the other direction. Now with the hangar and runway complete, I thought it'd be nice to do a flyover of the island to see the progress we've made. I'm proud of how everything's turned out, and am excited to move on to the next big project. Right on cue, Doozies and Op-V flew in for a landing with my completed plane. And with no time to waste, we headed off to the M portal. Before we could go through though, I had a secret to share. Under the hangar, I made a bunker. In this bunker, I had started making potato cannons and potatoes. I hadn't told the guys yet, but this is how we were going to beat that dragon. All geared up and ready for the fight, I placed the final 3 Ender Eyes and jumped straight into the portal. When we first arrived after dispatching with the first few Endermen, we walked up to the structure in the center. There, a few end crystals began exploding the pylons surrounding the place, revealing the end crystals we'd need to break. Finally, the dragon appeared, and after taking some pot shots with our cannons, we each got to work clearing out end crystals. I think it's obvious to some that I've not been to the end in a while, so my classic method is nerd pulling and smacking the crystals, then jumping off and doing it all over again. We landed some great shots with our cannons, but I felt I needed the higher ground, so I tossed an ender pearl up to the top of the structure. While up there, I saw LaBelle and just couldn't resist, and let's just watch what happens in slow-mo. Yeah, threw a pearl right past it and freaked out. I was okay though and kept on firing. Eventually, I went for the high ground method again, taking notes from Obi-Wan, and made it all the way up to the top, just for the dragon to swoop down and knock me off again. We kept firing potatoes and eventually we took it down. With the dragon gone and the return portal open, we took but a moment to rest, grabbing the egg and passing it around for the achievement. A nice moment after the chaos. And with that, the dragon is defeated, and that's all I've got time for today. The next time we come around, we'll be surveying some of the land and going on an elytra hunt so I can get a jetpack. Join us next time. As always, thanks for watching and thanks for liking and subscribing.